Yesterday, Friday, June 6th, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney attended an event held by the Muslim Association of Canada. He went to celebrate Eid. In his speech, he mentioned he was in attendance with 8 of his MPs and brought greetings from David McGuinty. I listened to the entire speech. Carney began by saying, "Our Canada is a diverse country, proud home to different languages, different beliefs, different cultures. Those are differences that make us unique, that make us strong. We can pray differently, we can gather in different places of worship, but all of us come together. All of us must come together around the values of Eid, the values of community, generosity, and sacrifice. These are Muslim values, these are Canadian values." Then he said, "I know that for myself included, the celebrations also bring sadness evoked by the intolerable suffering around the world, including Gaza. The sadness I feel because of the hatred fueled by ignorance that is still a reality for far too many Muslim Canadians." Then he mentioned the members of the Afzal Salman family who were killed 4 years ago in London, Ontario. They were victims of the heinous crime of terrorism. I agree with most of his statement. The values of community, generosity, and sacrifice are wonderful shared values for Canadians and Muslim Canadians to hold. I also agree all Canadians, should be safe from hatred and acts of violence as guaranteed by our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Yet, there are 2 things about Carney's speech that were very alarming. The first is where it was held. Carney spoke in front of a large Muslim Association of Canada banner. The website for the Muslim Association of Canada states, "Our understanding of Islam as articulated in the writings of Imam Hassan al-Banna." Under the About section of the website, one can read about Imam Hassan al-Banna forming the Muslim Brotherhood, which would become the most influential Islamic revivalist organization in the world. That should be very alarming to every Canadians, right? Why is it alarming to me? Because I know my history. I was just reading about the Muslim Brotherhood yesterday. Established in Egypt in 1928, the Muslim Brotherhood advocated rule by Sharia law and the return of an Islamic caliphate. The group's founder, Hassan al-Banna, had also been in close contact with the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem in 1927. That is the same Grand Mufti who spent World War II with Hitler spreading Nazi propaganda around the Middle East and advocating for the death of Jews. There's so much to unpack here. The Muslim Brotherhood have been banned in the following Muslim countries: the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, and Bahrain. It has also been banned in Austria. But it goes further. After the Six-Day War in 1967, religious scholars in Gaza couldn't understand how they had been losing to Jews. So they decided it must be because God was punishing them for turning away from a godly society. As a result, they turned to Sharia law, and their leader, Ahmed Yassin, joined the Muslim Brotherhood. Then, in 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini overthrew the Shah in Iran, demonstrating to Muslims around the world that Islam could be a governing ideology. In 1987, Yassin announced jihad was among us and created a new movement from the Muslim Brotherhood. This new movement was the Islamic Resistance, which in Arabic forms the acronym Hamas. The specific goal was establishing an Islamic theocracy in place of Israel, and to do it with bloodshed. So Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is standing in unity with a group who follows the Muslim Brotherhood's teaching and ultimately wants Sharia law? Sharia means the path to water, but in practice it is a legal system that includes death for apostates, amputation for robbery, death by stoning for extramarital sexual relations, and 100 lashes if the offender is unmarried. It is a system with no tolerance of the LGBTQ+ community and very few women's rights. The other thing I took issue in Carney's speech is he mentioned the intolerable suffering in Gaza, but he didn't mention Hamas, which grew out of the Muslim Brotherhood, supported by the Muslim Association of Canada. I found myself wondering what Hindu Canadians would think of all of this. 25 Hindus were just killed by radical jihadist Muslims in Kashmir. I especially wondered what Persian Canadians thought of this association between Mark Carney and the Muslim Association of Canada. Persians came to Canada because they lost their own country to Sharia theocracy. What do Canadian Lebanese and Syrian Christians think of this? What do you think of this? Let me know your thoughts.